Ronnie Fells,
Yes, sir.
how you doing here?
All right, my friend Craig Lindsay.
Yeah. So we've known each other.
Quite a while.
Did I meet you back when you did my album back in 2004, or was it before then?
I met you. I'm gonna tell you exactly when I met you.
Hmm.
It was on the stage. We met you. You met. We met on stage.
Oh yeah.
You was playing with Bloodstone. Cupid
Oh yeah.
brought you to me. He's like, "Hey, Ron, this is Craig. Man, he's a bad dude." And like he left. It was like,
Earl again.
Yeah,
Cupid. Yeah.
exactly. But we was on physically on stage.
I wanna, I wanna get some of your history, man, your background and stuff. First of all, you're from where?
Kansas City, Kansas.
All right. And your history, I mean, let's go back to your mom first to start with. You know.
Yeah, my mom, bless her soul, Merlene Akers.
Yeah.
I mean, powerhouse gospel musician, been around for years, decades. I mean, you know, she was James Cleveland called her one of the best three female pianists in the country.
Right.
James Cleveland said that about her.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you know who James Cleveland is,
Yeah.
that's a high accolade. James Cleveland, he's like one of the top gospel,
Right.
you know, stars of his time.
Was anybody else in your family, you know, your father, anybody else in musicians?
My grandfather was Lewis Wright. He was the original piano player of the then called Fine Young Scamps, later called the Scamps.
All right.
That's the band that Sonny Kenner.
Yeah,
played
my
with.
cousin Rudy Massengill was one of the original members of the Five Scamps and stuff. So he was in there in that group
Yeah,
during that time. That was like 40s and
exactly.
50s on up. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my grandfather was Lewis Wright.
So your mom kind of grew up in the church playing pretty much, and you did too also, didn't you?
I did too. And I really didn't grow up. I grew up mostly singing because she had it down. She had the keyboard. She had it down.
Mm-hmm.
And it was. I didn't start playing the bass until I was 20.
Okay.
And the thing was, I had to go back. I started playing guitar when I was like 16.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my mother knew I wanted to play the bass. And she said, I'm going to get you a guitar because it'll be easier for you to transition from the guitar to the bass, which it would.
Yeah.
And like 20 years old, my pastor, who was then playing the bass, and he just got up out the pulpit. Spirit led him to get back in the pulpit.
Mm-hmm.
So he got up off the thing. He just held the bass up, pointed to me and said, and that was it.
Wow.
I've been playing the bass ever since.
Yeah, so what schools did you go to? Let's start with kindergarten.
Kindergarten, I went to Our Lady of St. Rose, Kansas City, Kansas, on 8th and Waverly.
Okay.
It's a private Catholic school. My mother was a new mother. She wanted to provide the best for her child, so she sent me to a Catholic school. And plus, it was only a block away from the house, so you know, pretty easy to transition. It was cool. You know, all the kids there was black, so we didn't have to. You know, it wasn't not a lot of assimilation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it was cool, not a problem. Then I went to Milton Moore Elementary School.
Where's that?
It's in Missouri, off of Linwood,
Okay.
and I believe it's still there. I don't know what it's called now, but my mother got remarried and we moved to Missouri.
Okay.
And so I did that for a year. And then we moved to Miami. And then I went to Vandy Blanton Elementary School in Miami, Florida. And that was a culture shock.
Mm-hmm.
Going to Miami, that was, you know. And then I went to a gifted school.
Oh, okay.
It was a gifted program for, you know, gifted children, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also in Miami, and I learned a lot of weird stuff. We were discussing, like, I'm in the fifth grade, 5th, 6th grade, and we're discussing Alvin Toffler. I mean, the book Future Shock. And if you know who Alvin Toffler is, he's one of those futuristic writers like Philip K. Dick and Ray Kurzweil. I mean, those, you know, one of those writers. And we were discussing that. We were discussing those writers when we were in the 5th grade, 6th grade. And we were building solar houses and all kind of stuff, having discussions and stuff. And then I went to Horace Mann Junior High, and that was, you know, that was cool, you know.
Is that still in Florida?
Yeah, still in Florida, still in Miami, Florida. And then we moved back up to Kansas City after some turmoil, and we moved back up here.
Was this in the what? The 80s?
It was in the early 80s.
Okay.
The early 80s. I moved back up here in Kansas City in 83.
Yeah, how old are you now?
53.
Okay. And then what high school you go to?
Washington High School.
Okay. And were you involved in the music programs there?
In the chorus, not in the band so much, but in the chorus, I was in the choir.
You know my friend Charles Bay. Charles, I don't know if he was teaching music at you said Wyandotte, Washington. Washington. No, he was at Wyandotte. Okay. So what kind of music, other than the chorus, what else were you doing musically during that time?
Musically during that time, I was really just listening to music. I wasn't really playing any music. I was just listening. I liked, you know, mainly Prince.
Yeah.
That's the, you know, that's the guy to me.
Is that when you started getting into R&B music?
Absolutely. Well, I can really say that it was before that. It was just, that's when I started wanting to play it.
Okay.
Cause I've been in it forever. I mean, since I was born, I was, you know, go to my auntie's house, my dad's house, and we listen to Earth, Wind and Fire and whoever else, and just growing up, I listened to Quincy Jones, and,
right? Yeah.
you know, so I've been listening forever. I mean, when I first started wanting to play the bass, is when I heard Stomp.
Yeah.
When I heard Stomp, I was like, damn, I want to do that. I heard Stomp, I was like, Louis Johnson, that bass solo Louis Johnson did, I was like, I was just mesmerized.
Give me a little history on some of the groups and stuff you wound up working with after. I think this would be either starting in high school or after high school.
I really wouldn't. When I was in high school, I tried to start a little group with some of my friends, and we had like a little singing group.
You got any names you want to throw at me?
Yeah. We was I'm kind of embarrassed to say, but it was Harmony 3. It was me and my friend Forrest and Derek Lowe, my friend Forrest Wilson, and we did a little, you know, had a little song. And the thing is, I replaced a guy named David Haskin, and I didn't replace him because he was messy. He just his mama just moved. So they said, hey, why don't you do it? I was like, all right. And we did that. We was in the paper and everything, and you know, that was cool. And I tried to get a band with my friend Ellis Taylor. He's one of the Mannings. Mannings is a big family.
Yeah.
Big family, Kansas City music. But Marvin and Manning sang with James Brown. You know, just to put it in context. DeAndre Manning is one of their nephews. He's a bass player around the town. Yeah. Awesome, amazing bass player. Yes. Big ups. And I've been knowing him since he was, makes me feel old. I've been knowing him since he was like 8 years old. Wow. You know, it's his dad, Winifred Manning, played with my mother in another band. Okay. You know, so we all kind of, you know. Anyway, I was trying to start a band with him, and it didn't really go nowhere. And we was in, I think I'll fast forward to college, and that's where I met some really cool guys I'm friends with to this day.
Which college you go to?
I went to just
JUCO?
Just JUCO.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, JUCO. And I met and one of my friends I'm friends with right now, Mr. Cornell Hardy, saxophone player. I'm friends with him to this day. You know, matter of fact, I talked to him a few days ago. And we did talent shows. Him, my friend Marlon Stokes, really good keyboard player. He lives in Arizona somewhere now. He's an awesome keyboard player. Really, really, really good. He's been awesome since I've known him. I mean, he didn't grow into the awesomeness. He started off awesome, as far as I knew. And we did talent shows and stuff like that. And I was just I was just picking up the bass, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything. And
is that your preferred instrument, bass or keyboards? 'Cause I've known you as a really great keyboard player, and I think you got some of that from your mama.
Oh, I got a lot of that from my mama. Yeah, it kind of depends because in church, ironically, I'm more comfortable playing the bass, and you would think I'd be more comfortable playing the keyboard because most people know me as a keyboard player.
Right.
But in church, my mother played the keyboard, so I didn't have to do that. So I played the bass. So I got comfortable playing the bass. And I didn't play the bass in secular music outside till I was 30.
Yeah. When did you meet Kevin Pierce and those guys?
When I was about 20. That's when I first met him. And the thing is, we was me and Cornell and Marlon and a couple other guys. The drummer Mike Warren.
Yeah.
We were playing at Mike Warren's house. And the guitar player Lyle Gibson was working out something, and KP came over. Kevin Pierce. He came over. They were coming over to Mike. They were coming over to Mike's house to rehearse for their band, and we were just happened to be there. We hadn't got out yet, and we was like, "Excuse me, sir," you know, because I'm like, these big dudes come in.
Yeah. And
Kevin was like, "No, man, come here." And he showed him something. And I was like, that was the first time I met him, and he came and was like, "Oh, bass man," and I was like, "Oh no, I don't know." It's like he calling out notes and you hitting them, so you must know something. I was like, yeah, that's about it, you know. And but that's the first time I met Kevin, and Kevin is a great friend, big brother to me. He's Kevin Pierce. You my man. Yeah. You know, I got a lot of big brothers that it's like the people that's shaped how I play. The Gray brothers, Glenn and David.
Yeah.
Gray.
Yeah, I think that's when I started working with you, when you had your own little group and you were playing at the Blue Room and different places around town. And you had Gray Matter was one of the groups. Was that your group or was that together?
It was. I won't say it was my group. Actually, David and Doriel kind of put that together. Doriel Dips. Awesome. I can't even begin to explain. He's an awesome singer, awesome keyboard player, composer, producer, all that stuff. I don't have any words to describe him.
Right.
And it's like, and I feel fortunate that they put me in the mix, cause I'm sitting there like, boy, I don't belong here, but they thought I did, so I stayed. You know, but I got some, like I said, the big brothers. I got a lot of big brothers that showed me, how to do stuff, how to move, how to, just
there's so many musicians here that have so much love for you and respect for you and stuff as a person, and first number one, and then just in your talents and stuff. And did you get to play on a few records? I know you played on my record. You played on my Contemplating.
Yeah, I played on a few. I can't remember.
That's no problem.
I really can't. I really can't remember.
Yeah.
I played on a few. I played I did some work on my man Tech Nine album.
Yeah.
A couple years ago. I did some talk box.
Okay.
I did that. Chris Calico too.
Yeah.
Same thing, talk box. I really didn't play anything. That's all I did. And that was fun. That was cool. Because I've been knowing them cats for years.
Yeah.
I've been knowing them dudes for years.
I want to get into, I know people probably looking at you because your vision wasn't always the situation you're in right now.
No, not at all.
When did that happen? And tell us a little bit about it, that situation.
Well, about 10 years ago, I woke up one day and like my eyes were just, everything was cloudy, everything was brown.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to church and I was like, I was just trying to move and it was just hard, and I ended up going to the hospital and they ended up operating on me that day. And they had put some silicone in my eyes and they were going to take it out. And they ended up taking it out a few months later. Mm-hmm. But by that time, they had discovered it was just going to get worse.
Wow.
And I tried to go to the doctor, and this is I'm just gonna say it. It's like, I'll just put it like this: some people get people's health care is better than others.
Yeah.
Put it like that.
Yeah.
Because I've known people who have had what I have, and they're fine. Their insurance took care of that, but my insurance did not, because of whatever reasons. You can.
So there was a situation where you probably could have had. You could have sued some people probably for not handling things the way they were supposed to, right? It's just a matter of timing and your, like you say, your healthcare situation and just your living situation and everything.
Absolutely.
And your state of mind at that time.
Absolutely.
The change in your whole being,
mm-hmm.
right?
Because it really make you, losing your sight is something that is different, because what it does is, for me anyway, it makes you second guess yourself at every turn, because if you can't even gauge your next physical step, you don't know what's coming up the next step. It kind of affects your self-esteem, your state of mind, like Craig said. I mean, everything, and it's a lot to get over.
And did your friends support you, or did some?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I got a lot of friends that support me. And the friends that didn't support me, I guess they're not my friend.
Yeah.
So I just kind of them. But my friends, all my friends supported me.
Yeah.
All my friends, and any friends give me crap,
Yeah.
Like, you blind.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where
But that's my friend.
Yeah. You didn't want nobody to necessarily feel sorry for you.
No.
Because you're not that kind of person.
Yeah. And it's nothing like that. I got my friends. Like my best friend in the world, Mr. Greg Mason, Reverend Greg Mason. That's my best friend. And he really looks out for me. He takes me to the store when I got to go, and he's ripping and running and doing all type of stuff. And he's a great guy. And I love him dearly. He's like another brother to me. For real, and we like that, and we've been like that forever. So it's yeah, that's my boy. But I got a lot of really good friends.
When you were going through your treatment, I think it caused some, was it kidney problems or whatever?
Yeah.
And since then, you've been, having to take dialysis?
I've had to start dialysis in the past few years.
Yeah.
And that's a drag.
That's a drag. I have a few friends that's going through that whole situation and stuff, and that just eats up, first of all, 3 days a week, or how many days a week?
3 days a week.
And pretty much that day is gone, isn't it?
That day is gone.
Yeah.
Because when you get off, for people who don't know what dialysis is, it's what it is. The kidneys don't function, so the dialysis machine is your kidneys for you. So like external kidneys, and you have to go on this machine. They filter your blood out and pump it back in, and take fluid out and pump. And sometimes I can lose as much as 10 pounds in a session.
Wow. And
when you lose like 10 pounds in 4 hours, just imagine, how tired that will make you.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you saw me yesterday, my voice would sound like this, because they took all my fluid out of my body, and I slept. I got back here about maybe 11:30, and I went to sleep. I woke up around 9 because I was tired.
Yeah.
And it's a tough deal, and having to deal with that. And the sight thing. It's
the music keeps you going though. Yeah. What kind of advice or could you give to just worldly advice, really, from your experience in living as long as you have, to some of these kids coming up? And we know times are different, and everything's situation is different. But I know, you in your situation, it taught you that you can't take nothing for granted, really.
No, absolutely not, because you really don't. You can't take anything for granted, and I would say appreciate what you have the way you have it, because life can turn on you on a dime. Life can turn on you instantly, because it did that to me. Instantly.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was in dialysis, one day, I had a seizure in the middle of dialysis. And in the middle of the seizure, I had a couple of strokes.
Wow.
And this is one day. And one day I was reasonably okay. Then the next day, I couldn't walk. I could barely talk. I mean, I had to, I was on a wheelchair. I was bedridden and wheelchair bound for months. And I had to, I had to do my own physical therapy.
Right.
To get back to where I could leave that place and just move around the world. Is so be happy. I mean, be happy with your family. Be happy with your situation. I mean, try to improve always, but be content.
This is Easter weekend. How do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as that guy who was just a good, decent Christian young man who did what he was supposed to do, try to help people. And he could sing pretty good, and he could play pretty good, and he helped people. And when you think of me, I would like people to think of me and smile. I mean, people think of me like, Ronnie Fells, yeah, I remember him. Yeah, that was a cool dude. Because some people you remember like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I want people to think of me, you know, think pleasant thoughts.
Yeah, you're playing in church now, aren't you?
I am, always.
Yeah. And you've always have, pretty much.
Always have.
Yeah.
Trinity AME on the corner of 5th and Greeley, Kansas City, Kansas. The Honorable Reverend Stephen Cousins is my pastor. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure doing this. I didn't want to make it too long, but I just came over here and we were working on your bass.
I appreciate that, sir.
Because you had a little crackle in the connector and stuff, and then we went ahead and we set the intonation on your guitar that Kevin gave you.
Yes, sir. Big brother Kevin.
and so like I said, you know, we are always cool, and it's always good to see you, and good to see you.
It's good to be seen.
Yeah, that's.
I'd rather be seen than viewed. You know how that go.
I hear you.
You know?
Yeah. So, anyway, I know all our people on Facebook and all our friends have always told me to tell you what's up. You know. And I know you. You know, they sending you love and everything. So.
Yeah, I thank you all. You know, all my friends, the family out there. You know, who support me. Your prayers. You know, I feel it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Well,
praying for y'all too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Fells.
Thank you so much.